Okay, I'm back again. This one is on science, but I wanted to go ahead and tell you I'm going to go ahead and change some things up. Okay, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. You can do at home on your own. I sent everybody a copy of the novel. Please read that book. It is a very, very good book. It's a classic. It's wonderful. It takes place back in a time where blacks were not treated equally or fairly like the whites, as you can already tell if you've read chapter 1, because they're going to different schools. Okay, um, but I'm going to read to you Brian's Hunt, the last book in the series, because the chapters I can get through in my 10-minute period for my videos. Okay, I just wanted to tell you, read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry on your own. I'm having to change things up. I told you we're going to get through this together if it kills us. Okay, if it kills us. All right, I got this. All right, now I'm on to science, and I'm on the respiratory system packet, the reading passage, and the mucus, snot and boogers and all that stuff. I hope you've eaten lunch before you watch this one, okay? Anyways, all right, I'm sorry I took a minute. I had to eat lunch. I was starving to death. As you can see, I've already done this one before, but hey, whatever, we'll do it again. Okay, the respiratory system. It says each day you breathe in and out, whether you're awake or asleep. You don't think about it. It occurs every few seconds during each part of the day. You can't live without breathing. You need oxygen from the air. You breathe to live and grow. Breathing takes air into the lungs and allows air to be pushed out. Okay? We know that breathing is important. Even ancient people, this is important because that's a question, ding, ding, ding. Even ancient people knew that living things needed air to live, and they weren't sure what air really was, though. So in 1643, Evangelista Torricelli proved that air wasn't a spirit. It had weight, and it took up space. In 1771, Cart Schill discovered it was a very important ingredient. Oxygen was the air. Scientists continue to study it today. Air, we know of, is actually a mixture of colorless gases. 4/5 is nitrogen. 1/5 is oxygen, and this is what's in the air. I've already done my marginal notes. Remember, if I'm going too fast, hit that pause button on these videos, okay? There's also carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases, as well as particles of dust and pollen. There are 2 types of respiration, okay, occurring in the body. One kind that we actually think of as breathing in and out air through our lungs. This is there are other kind of cellular respiration. It occurs in the cells in our body. The energy that our bodies use to keep us alive comes from the release of this energy when food materials and oxygen go through chemical changes. It's released from the foods that we eat. To have this occur in our cells, oxygen has to get there first. So let's go to the beginning. Your nose and mouth are the start of the respiratory system. The air then goes through the trachea. The trachea is a passageway leading to the lungs. The epiglottis, I'll get it out in a minute, guards the trachea so food can't get down. At the top of the trachea is your voice box or larynx, and it's an important part of your respiratory system too. The 2 stretchy bands or vocal cords move when air flows around them. This is what gives us sound waves, sound voices. Equally important, though, is the fact that the trachea branches into bronchia. One goes to the left lung, one goes to the right. The bronchia branches into smaller passageway called bronchioles. These air-filled sacs are at the end of the alveoli. It's like a group of grapes. I'm going to turn the page real quick because I drew it. So here's your trachea, and it branches off right lung, left lung, and it's got these sacs are your lungs, and then these are the grapes that it's talking about. That's what your lungs look like. Oxygen passes through the thin walls into your blood system, and then carbon dioxide is taken out of your system. Your diaphragm is below your lungs, so here is your diaphragm. Make sure I spell that right. Diaphragm. Is below your lungs. Okay. And it's a muscle shaped like a dome. It moves up and down. And when you breathe in, the diaphragm moves down, and other chest muscles pull the ribs up and out. The lungs can fill with air. And when you breathe out, your ribs and diaphragm press inward, and air is squeezed out of your lungs. So I drew you a picture, okay? Your ribs make up the cages of bones in your chest cavity that protect it. So then you have your ribs. This is your ribs, okay? And it protects that, okay? And your left lung is actually a little smaller than your right lung, and that's to allow room for your heart. So then you have your heart right here. So, okay. All right. Well, obviously, these are very important parts of your body to be protected so that you can work. Serious scientists can see the humor in the situation because they call it the pulmonary tree. The trachea is your trunk. The bronchia are your branches. Bronchioles are your twigs right here. And it's just a fun way to remember it. And then you have these questions that you can go back and look in. Okay? All right, next passage really quick. Remember, if you need to pause the videos, please do, okay? But I've got to move on so I can get both of them. Mucus, boogers, and snots. How gross. Quit picking your nose. Even ever hear your mom say that? Why do we pick our noses? Everyone does it at some point. Most people think it's the best to do it in private, but blowing your nose with a tissue is not done in front of others. That's not polite company. Whether it's blowing your nose or picking it, we all need to clean out our noses often. The nose is filled with mucus membrane. This membrane makes mucus, which is phlegm. Okay, and in the nose, mucus has two roles. Inside the nose are tiny hair-like projections called cilia. These nose hairs trap dust, pollutants, bacteria, and other small particles that we breathe in. It keeps us from getting sick. The mucus works like a sticky doormat to help trap these finer particles before they go too far. The mucus and hairs work together to keep these particles from entering your lungs, okay, where you can get pneumonia, bacterial infections, anything like that. A water mucus, the watery mucus cleans out dead skin cells, particles, and dust. Mucus also adds moisture to the air when you breathe so that your nasal tissues don't dry out. That's, get a nosebleed. It's because your nasal passages are dry. Blowing your nose empties this trapped debris. Boogers are actually dried up snot and dirty nose debris. They can be small, slimy lumps or big, dry clumps. Either way, boogers are filled with junk from the air that you breathe. Yuck, don't eat it, okay? The snot that's cooked up inside your mucous membranes is produced by goblet cells. How about a goblet full of mucus? Doesn't sound good? Surprise, you swallow about 2 cups of mucus every day, and you don't even realize it. Actually, the mucus is about 95% of water, 2 or 3% of salt, and 2% mucin, which is the average human body produces a liter of mucus per day. I mean, gross. You know that Mucinex is the thing that when you got a cold and it loosens that mucus, that's why they called it that, Mucinex. As gross as it sounds, mucus is actually one of the best friends your body has. Mucus in many parts of your body as well. Your body has mucous membranes in all sorts of places. The stomach, intestines, nose, lungs, eyes, mouth, and the urinary tract. Urinary tract is pee, okay, where your pee comes out. All contain membranes that make mucus. If it weren't for mucus in your stomach, you would eat yourself up. Isn't that gross? Okay, so these are body parts that have mucus. Have mucus. Okay? All right, and then this article right here, this paragraph is about sneezing. Sneezing is another way mucus helps you. When you sneeze, it's because your cilia have been super irritated by something such as germs, pet dander, pollen, other irritants. Your body can't wait to get rid of it, so it sneezes it out. Some sneezes have been clocked at over 100 miles per hour. You can sneeze at over 100 miles per hour. That's awesome to me. Unfortunately, the spray of snot is filled with germs. That's why we tell you to cover your mouth. Put your nose and mouth in the elbow crease of your sleeve, and it can go across the room. Some can float in the air for almost an hour. So sneeze in your sleeve, please. Why does your nose run and your feet smell? Well, we'll leave the smelly feet to another day. Turn the page. How about that? But remember that mucus is 95% of water. So when it's chilly, your nose, you breathe in and out of your nose, and it cools and condenses. The condensed moisture forms heavy drops which run out of your nose, over your chin, and drop all the way to your shoe. Other times, the germs you breathe can actually start growing in your nose and throat, and that's when you get a cold. So when you have a cold, the linings of your nose and throat swell, thick, clear, liquid mucus forms, and its purpose is to wash away those germs. That's why your nose gets stuffy, your throat gets itchy and irritated, and it's trying to fight off all those germs. The mucus builds up and blocks those passages, and this causes your stuffy nose and your cough. Sometimes you may need to see a doctor so that your cold gets better, but sometimes it's not the cold, but just allergies. You may also need to see a specialist to help determine the cause of your runny nose. Your nose is an important part of your sensory system. It works well. Your nose can give you great pleasure. Anyways, don't pick your nose. It's not cool, okay? And then you have the questions, which you can do. I know you can. And then at the end, it has these math problems. And I set this one up. That's a 2 is the whole number, and 2 tenths, and 2 tenths. And then triple 43 would be times 3. And these are just, you can do these, okay? You can do them. All right, so try them, okay? That's science. I know that watching reading about the human body and studying it is exciting to some of y'all, and y'all are excited about it, so I thought we'd start it since it gave you something fun to read about. So anyways, don't pick your nose, okay? All right, I'm going to go do your reading video now. Love you.